Hey guys, Jesse Texas Bushcraft here, and this is going to be my entry to the Texas Bushcraft Challenge. So, as you already know, the environment is Texas right now, 130 degrees, no rain, there's a drought. And the next step is the items, the 5 items. My number 1 item is going to be paracord. I've got about 100 feet here. Honestly, I would only carry about 50, but I didn't feel like cutting this up. And number 2 is going to be my blast match, very important for starting fires. Number 3 is my defender knife, and honestly I didn't know whether to choose this one or my K-bar, but in the end what made me choose the defender is because the finish on it, the black finish, has been worn down a lot, therefore I can strike my striker easier with it. My K-bar is practically brand new and the finish isn't coming off anytime soon. Number 4 is my canteen and canteen cup for boiling water, cooking, just about anything. And of course, container for water. And number 5 is tarp. Now, this was also hard for me. I couldn't really make a decision very easily whether or not to choose a tarp or maybe a multi-tool. But in the end, I chose a tarp as honestly for just in case. This is pretty much an emergency situation, and I think I would rather have a tarp on me than a multi-tool, because a tarp has many more uses than just cover. You can use it to collect water, and that's the big one that was pretty much the determining factor. So these are my 5 items and the reason why I chose them. And next part, I'm gonna draw, see which 2 that I don't get to keep. Okay guys, so I went ahead and numbered 6 pieces of paper here. And the order is going to be 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, and then 6 will be a wild card. I get to choose which one I want to lose. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in a canteen cup here. And I'm going to have my buddy Donnie here draw for one. Shake them around. And the first one is 4. So it'll be canteen and canteen cup. And primary use for that to me is containing water. So that one's gone. Okay, so now we got left is 1, 2, 3, and 5. And 6, of course, is the wild card. So go ahead and choose. Number 5, that's the tarp. So now, what we have left is going to make the rest of our job easier. We've got paracord, 100 feet, we've got our blast match, and we've got the knife. The canteen cup is with the container, so that's gone. So now the next step is to recreate these items, the lost items, with our natural world, and then recreate its primary use from the natural item that we created. So I'm going to get started on that. Wish me luck. I just want to make it clear that I'm going to be carrying my canteen around because it's 100 degrees outside and I don't want to get dehydrated. Alright, the first one I'm going to work on is the tarp, and the primary use for that was going to be cover, of course. So what I'm going to do is I found this up the hill a little bit where we're recording, and I'm going to see if I can get a lean-to, so a debris lean-to up against this right here. It's not very large, but it's large enough. So I'm going to clear this area a little bit, make it a little bit more hospitable to me, and I'll start working on it. That'll work pretty well. I just want to show you a quick tip for breaking logs rather than using your knee or your legs to do it. It's pretty easy. Put the log in there, wherever you want it to break. Put it on the closer end to you. This tree is a little bit weak, so we'll see what happens. There you go. Alright guys, this is what we got so far. Here, I've laid some dead sticks down this way, long ways, and then laid some smaller ones over across. And it comes down in a sharp angle right here, and I'm going to leave this end open because this is the direction that the wind's coming from, so I might not even just put anything here. What I'm going to attempt to do is get some leaves, some branches here, and cover this up as much as I can. But honestly, we don't have very many large leaf trees around here. We pretty much just got oak and cedar in this area, a few others. But I'm going to give it a go, and it's going to take a little while, so I'll get back to you when I'm done. I've been searching around, looking for branches with enough leaves on it for it to be efficient to cut them down. And I mean, there are, but honestly this is my buddy's land, and I don't want to be cutting down too many of these live trees, even the branches. So what I'm going to do here is, he's got a bunch of grasses on the side here of this bank. I'm going to just start cutting them down. I'm going to get handfuls and handfuls. I'm going to bring them up to the spot and lay them over it, thatch the roof, see what we got after we're done. I'll get back. As you know, one of the items that were lost was the tarp. And the primary function of a tarp is cover from the elements. And in Texas, the main element that you want to be covered from is the sun. Rain is a godsend in Texas, around right now anyway. We've been in a drought for, I don't know, 3-4 months now. So rain would be welcoming. But as I said, this is to protect you from the sun. And as of right now, I've already laid the structure on it. I've laid a few limbs. Honestly, the limbs that are on here right now are just going to be to hold up the grasses once it gets to that stage. And honestly, I want it to be breezy in here. I don't want it to be real compact and real tight. It doesn't need to be watertight. There's not going to be rain, and if there is rain, I'd be happy. So rain would be okay here. This is to protect from the elements, and as I said before, this is a pretty shaded area. The sun isn't really a big factor, but this is part of the challenge, so that's why I'm doing this. I'll get back to you. Hopefully it'll look good, and we'll see what it looks like. And one more thing about this shelter and about the primary uses of a tarp. Not only is it coverage, but it's also comfort. When you've got a roof over your head, you're going to be a lot more at ease. You're going to be in a better mental state, which is going to help you to survive. And that's one of the primary uses of a tarp here. In other places, of course, it's going to be to protect you from the rain, protect you from the snow, protect you from the wind, things like that. But here, it's mainly the sun and a sense of comfort, in my eyes anyway.
Almost done.
Huh?
Almost done.
I want to get all of it. Like
all,
every...
the whole...
I want to get the entire field. Alright, so we've been out in this field here for about, I don't know, an hour or so, if that. Cutting down some grasses to put as the roofing on the shelter. And honestly, I don't think we got enough here. I think that may do it, may not. It's not that large of a shelter. But what I've done, I just laid the paracord on the ground and then put it on top of the paracord so I can just carry it all in one. I didn't feel like cutting it. Well, actually, I didn't want to cut it, because I hate cutting paracord unless I absolutely have to. Let's put an overhand in it. Honestly, that should be good right there. We're going to carry this back and put it on the roof and see what happens from there. Alright, so I'm going to start laying this grass here on the shelter. And as I said before, this isn't really a watertight shelter, and it's not supposed to be. I want some air getting in here because it's so hot, and mainly it's to protect us from the sun. But I'm going to layer from the ground up, so if it does rain, the rain will be like roofing for your house. It'll gradually go down each step. So it's not a very large shelter. Like I said, I'm probably going to keep the corner open over there so some air can get in. But we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and start laying some stuff on there. And the branches and leaves that are already on there, that's pretty much just support for the grass. And once I get the grass on there, I'm going to put some dead limbs and such like that over it to keep it from flying away in case it does get a little too windy. Alright fellas, here's the outside of it. Like I said, I put some dead branches and such over the grasses to keep it from blowing away if there was a decent wind. And I'll go around the back here to show you what it looks like. So here it is from the back. It's not the greatest. Well, this is it. This is my debris lean-to. Its structure is pretty much just crisscross dead limbs. The roof is pretty much every other type of tree out here that we could find with enough leaves on it, just to support the grass. And then the main roof is, of course, the grasses off in the field and down by the river. And it's not watertight. There's definitely a lot of holes in there where water can get through. But I'm sure if a small rain came through, it'd be pretty decent against that. A downpour, probably not. Most shelters won't be watertight. So, I mean, this is it. This was the tarp that I lost, and this is its primary use for coverage. It's taken a couple hours. It's not the greatest, but that's kind of the point. It's an emergency situation. You lost a tarp. You got to improvise, and that's what I did. Only tool that I used for this was my knife and the paracord. Paracord to carry it, the knife to cut it. And everything else was broken. Nothing else was cut but the grass. And this is one of the best shelters I've done, but it's definitely useful. As I said, I left it open here, and in the bottom I left a gap so there's a lot of air coming in and out because it's far too hot. And honestly, it's pretty decent. I'd say it's about probably 6 feet even, and that's good enough right there. This could hold heat in even if it was cold. Build a little fire right outside the entrance here, and you have a pretty good shelter. So this is the tarp and the primary use of it. Next I'm going to get to the canteen, which is going to be a little bit harder. I feel like I'm going to have to build a fire for that one. So I'll get back to you once we get started on that.